Hello everyone, welcome to this second part of the video where I'm going to explain to you about expository paragraphs. As you may remember in the first video, I explained to you definition paragraphs. And by explaining the process of writing a definition paragraph, maybe you could get why it is important to have a topic sentence and a concluding sentence that matches the style that you're writing. Besides these, probably you remember the ways in which you can write a definition paragraph, but just defining means that you may use connotation, denotation, you may use negation, synonyms, and other kind of words that can help you exactly do that, define. But our topic today is not definition paragraph. The second example or style that I was going to give you is classification paragraph. What is a classification paragraph? The purpose of a classification paragraph is to clearly define something and place it in a group according to some basis or rule that it only fits in one group. In order to be successful at this, you have to be very detailed. Remember, you are sorting, dividing, grouping ideas, concepts, or things. But the main focus here is that you classify. So how are you going to classify in a classification paragraph? The same information can be classified into more than one category, but the classification paragraph sticks to one basis of classification. The topic sentence has two parts, the topic and the basis of classification, which is the controlling idea. It controls how the writer approaches the subject. Here we need to keep in mind three important elements that we need to know before writing a classification paragraph or essay that later you will write. To classify means to gather into types, kinds, or categories according to a single basis of division, because we are writing just a paragraph, remember. We need to follow a logical sequence, and here I mean that we have to use what I taught you in one of the previous videos that I uploaded for you. We need to keep in mind that when we're talking about this logical sequence, we are talking about order. Remember we talked about time order, space order, and climax order? So here you list the categories in this order, either from the most to the least outrageous, least to the most expensive, from the largest to the smallest, and so on. And some transitional expressions that you may use in this style can be divided, can be classified, can be categorized, the first type, the second kind, the last category, 1, 2, 3, first, second, and third. It's up to you. However, you need to show clearly that you are first classifying, and then you need to provide examples that develop your major supporting points within the paragraph. Here you have an example of my own. I wrote it, sorry, it has a typo at the beginning. It should be super selective shoppers. Super selective shoppers can be classified according to the spending attitudes that they display. As you see here in the topic sentence, I'm going to classify these people, these type of shoppers, and why or how would I classify them? I will classify them according to their spending attitudes, how they spend the money when they get to the place where they're gonna do the shopping. So let me read it for you and then I will go over the explanation. Shoppers at super selectors can be classified according to the spending attitudes that they display. First, compulsive shoppers, also called shopaholics. These enjoy shopping, accumulating, and strolling along. They derive pleasure from purchasing all the different objects that can be purchased and displayed in their homes and offices. They do not mind the amount or cost of an item, as shopping is an addiction they can never have enough of. Second, the penny pinchers, better known as stingy shoppers. This special type will never buy all the necessary things because of the high prices displayed, which makes him think twice to buy some fruit or a pair of sandals he may only take to the beach once. This special sort of shopper will compare prices at Maxi Despensa or the local store market in Colón, not to overspend. Third, the bored shoppers, who are usually dragged into the store slightly against their will, may not spend money consciously because they do not care about money, but the time being there. Men and children fall into this category. On the one hand, men walk through the aisles taking what they need, not comparing any price, picking the 12th pack of beer and waiting in line for their wives to end the shopping list. On the other hand, kids will throw a temper tantrum to get toys, snacks, or simply ride the shopping trolley all the way inside and outside the place. In a nutshell, super selectus shoppers, purchasers, can be sorted either by their compulsive, stingy, or spiritless representatives. As you may have seen here, you see the topic sentence has classified shoppers, the people who go to super selectos, and the classification basis is their spending attitudes. By spending attitudes, I mean we're going to talk about three different groups. The first one is compulsive shoppers, and then in the minor supporting ideas, I have explained why they are compulsively shopping all around. Then in the second classification, I present the penny pinchers, which are the stingy shoppers. And then I explain what they do, that is the display of their attitude towards the shopping list and all the things that I say. Finally, I talked about the bored shoppers, and I explained what their attitude is. Within every major supporting point here, you will see that I have exemplified, I have illustrated, I have used different words and sentences that explain this. But these three items that you find here are the ones that I have classified. And finally, in a nutshell, I'm providing the beginning of my concluding sentence. And then I'm saying that super selectus shoppers, again, can be sorted, they can be classified, they can be divided, they could be typed, they could be labeled, they could be categorized, either by their compulsive, their stingy, or their spiritless representatives. Clear? As you have seen, I have done all my paragraph fit. How did I make it fit? I thought of a topic sentence that will introduce the topic. My classification has to do with them. What is the basis of my classification? This one. What did I do in the body of the paragraph? I presented three different categories, and the three different categories that I presented have been explained, each one of them, in detail. Finally, in the concluding sentence, I have wrapped up the whole paragraph by providing a conclusion to the paragraph, which means my reader will be able to take this paragraph and understand one idea. I'm not just ending, I'm concluding the paragraph. So this was about classification paragraphs. I hope it was all clear, and wait for the third video that explains comparison and contrast paragraphs. That will be all. Thank you. Bye-bye.